Scanning for audio.
Welcome, once again, to a Tin Dog podcast. This time, I'm going to be talking about Frontos, except it's not called Frontos, is it? It's called Frontios, and I've been mispronouncing it since 1984. Hooray! I was 12, I didn't like it much. There you go. Not much of a review, moving on.
Console's jammed.
We're being dragged towards the planet. How?
Gravitational pull? The TARDIS has been destroyed.
We people of Frontios are vulnerable, Doctor. Desperate. Frightened, even. But we are not fools.
I think your colony of Earth people is in grave danger of extinction. This wasn't what I had in mind at all.
Tractators! I've seen them!
Give me your hand!
No. That's an order. We will find you, Doctor. You will pay dearly for this disruption to our plans.
You see, that's not quite true. Frontios is an odd little story. Narratively speaking, it takes place before Utopia, but after the destruction of the Earth. But this is no new Earth. Oh no, there's no new New York in sight. What you've got is a collection of very, very nice sci-fi concepts, some great acting, some much, much better acting than I remembered, some pretty good special effects, and the only thing that sticks in your mind afterwards, probably the worst Doctor Who monsters going. The Tractators are appalling, but as always, I'm getting ahead of myself. For those of you who don't know, what's it about? Well, the TARDIS has drifted off into the distant future. Not quite as far as Utopia, but well on its way. The last remnants of mankind are on the planet Frontios, far below, when the TARDIS is taken off and forced to land. The Doctor's very confused, and upon dematerialising, he ends up saving somebody's life and is rather more apologetic than usual, the way that you actually imagine Time Lords to truly be. The level of non-interference is almost Star Trek-like. Here we see the last best hope for mankind. Basically, it's a bunch of survivors clinging to the hull of a ship who, every day, get bombarded by meteorites, and this has been going on for 40 years. Like the TARDIS, it was dragged off course and forced to land. They're waiting for an invasion, they're waiting for some aliens, and they just haven't come. Frontios buries its own. Surely that's a giveaway? You can guess from that where the monsters truly are. Yes, it's a studio-bound story. Yes, it's of its time. And yes, I'm sorry I say this far too much. It's much, much better than I expected. It's not exactly a catchphrase of mine, but increasingly as I review these last few Doctor Who's, the ones that, well, fan opinion has it, aren't that good, or memory has it, more importantly, isn't brilliant, I'm increasingly proven wrong. It's been brilliant. I mean, next month I've got The Gunfighters and Awakenings to review. The Gunfighters is, well, held in fan esteem as being one of the worst stories ever made, and yet I'm holding out a lot of hope. In Running Through Corridors, Peter Purvis does say he truly enjoyed it after all of these years, and that's something I'm looking forward to, but that's not why I'm here. What I'm here to do is talk about Frontios. Yes, it's got some great extras, the standard making of, not as long as I would have liked, but it is rather interesting to note that Doctor Who made the news in those days, but not for a very good reason. The person originally cast in one of the roles was actually murdered. All of that news footage is on the disc, and it's an interesting side note, but it doesn't really affect the story as such. Yes, the woman out of May to December who's now in Emmerdale is in it, looking so much younger, but still brilliant. This woman is such a great actress, and you don't see that in soaps. You just accept what you're given. Here, there's a lot of very good, very strong performances. But, like so many fans, it's the tractators that stick in your mind. The creatures, the monsters. They're just giant space weevils with big floppy inflated rubber hands, terrible masks, and God help the people who were inside those costumes. If they'd fallen over just like a real weevil, they wouldn't have been able to get up. They're just awful. They've got some great lines, but they're so badly thought out. In fact, it's so bad that I actually, in my mind, placed these characters, these creatures, into the twin dilemma. They would have fitted. I got them mixed up, or perhaps it's the same costume. Either way, I'm not impressed. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Really, I don't. Because it's actually better. If you can get past that one terrible thing, then go for it. It's a good story. Now, as with most DVDs of the Davidson era, anything with Janet Fielding in it has to have a massive monologue all about costumes, hairstyles, and of course, overlighting. It was the 80s, JNT was in charge, the lights were up too high, get over it. We have no say in this. It's just what we had. There's a few, admittedly quite dull, cutscenes, but that's alright. They're from a VHS time-coded copy, so don't start thinking that they've been reinserted for length. And of course, your usual lovely PDFs, and my favourite, of course, the text running at the bottom, telling us all interesting facts about, well, stuff. For me, the most interesting thing is that all the guards seem to be wearing old Blake 7 costumes. I always did think that the Blake 7 universe was the Doctor Who universe. Now that would be nice. Matt Smith taking on Servalan? I think we need to leave it there. I really do. Because when the Andromeda invasion happened, it wasn't, as Nation originally intended, the Daleks. It was just some kitchenware on sticks. Why I'm talking about Blake 7 is beyond me. Look, it's a decent story. It comes out on Monday. Feel free to get it. It's not brilliant, so as always, hang on a bit if you're in two minds. Save yourself a bit of cash and get it in a sale. Next time, we're back talking about Matt Smith and his doppelgangers. And then there's only one episode left of this season. Oh, how time has flown. What will we do for the summer? Oh God. Torchwood. Please keep listening. I won't just be reviewing Torchwood. Honestly. 10 weeks. One storyline. Oh my God, I could be drawing teeth instead. Well, as long as it's not like Children of Earth and more like Season 2, I'll be able to get on with it. Look, I'm rambling and not in a good way. Speak to you all soon. Be seeing you. You have been listening to the Tin Dog Podcast. Doctor Who and its associated shows are all trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Contact us at tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk.
Howdy. Hello! Doc, yes, what is it?
We're in the wrong century.
That's all we needed.
There's been a confusion in time. Somehow 1984 has become linked with...
The Wild West!
What'll it be, stranger?
Well, if it ain't a great doc.
Oh, you flatter me, young man. And who might you be, sir?
You want to find out, try moving fast.
Doc, I would like you to meet the Clanton brothers.
The Clanton brothers. Oh, dear. I mean, Stephen, don't you think it's time we were going?
With the Clantons in town, you and me's headed for a load of trouble.
We shot down one of the Earp brothers.
Now you really have declared war.
I'd blast you down as soon as spit at you.
We're leaving now.
You're under arrest, Pop.
Under arrest, and don't you call me Pop.
Howard is my prisoner.
Well, that's too bad, because if he ain't out of there in 2 minutes, his friend's gonna swing in his place.
There's something very strange going on.
Something that will change the future of mankind.
You are energizing a force so destructive, nothing on Earth can control it. Malice is pure evil.
It has to be destroyed. It is time at last.
Everybody stay perfectly calm and still.
I am here, Master.